So I told everybody that I was definitely going to try and be more punctual with my videos, so I'm trying to stick to my promise. And this is actually a video that I think I wanted to make even before I made the last one. In certain subjects, like I'll look back at a video, like whether I made it like a long time ago or even a few months ago, and I always need to make sure that I'm not missing anything, because I think that sometimes I watch them and I'm like, I was totally missing something, and it bums me out. I think I have enough going on through Instagram and you know, through other ways that I reach people. So I think I'm not doing the worst job, but thank you for all the amazing feedback in the last video. So I talk about this a lot on Instagram, and I call it the inner child healing. I have posted a few times about certain things that I've been through, certain triggers that I've had with my inner child. And the way that I describe it is the inner child, because I tell everyone that I do like quantum healing, which is, you know, it's a lot of spiritual discipline. It's taken me a lot of like readings to, you know, you really understand that, you know, everything that is happening right now is still existing, and everything that has happened still exists within us right now. And then it's like up to us to try and figure it out and heal those things out of us. The majority of growing up, the way that you see your parents is how we view love. That's how we attract love. The way our parents treat us is how we view ourselves and how we treat the world and how we are to other people. Significant events within our childhood is the way that shapes us as we grow up. Like I've openly said that I've been very bullied. All those events have triggered me to be able to heal, because, you know, you don't realize that certain events in your life, they really land you to a place where you don't realize why you are lashing out the way at somebody that you are, or why you could be doing something to a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or why do we have abandonment issues so young. It could be the littlest thing, like being a child and being left alone in the car waiting for your mom or dad to come back, and you triggered that abandonment issue. You know, a lot of what happens to us when we're younger stays with us, and we stay very stuck in it for a very long time growing up. You know, if you had parents that fought a lot, if you had a mom that wasn't the best person in the world to you, especially for a daughter, a mother-daughter bad relationship, that's how she views the world, and that's how she views people liking. Women that have had a really rough relationship with their mother are going to have a really hard time making friends with females. They're going to feel like they have to do things for them to like them, because their mom has never accepted them, or their mom is consistently criticizing them and making them feel like nothing they do is good enough. So they're going to continuously push themselves to try and be better, and try and just fit in with everybody, because they feel like the person that they are, the person that they believe that they are, isn't good enough for anybody if it isn't even, you know, good enough for their own mother. When women have a absent father, or the father and her don't have a very good relationship, what happens is the girl, a lot of the time, that had a really rough childhood with their fathers, girl is going to have issues growing up with men who they're attracted to. They're going to, you know, be attracted to the guy that is probably the asshole, just because she doesn't believe that a man will actually like her and actually stay with her. A lot of women that come from a rough relationship with their father, and this is a lot of empaths as well, they wind up landing in some form of abusive relationship with somebody, because they look for somebody that they feel they have to do everything in the world to make them stay. You know, really that's not ever the case, but it takes a lot of work to be able to get there. No, really, the girl is gonna feel like she always has to, or not always, but the girl is gonna always feel like she needs to be with men that have some type of domineering role or a dominant role. A lot of women like that come from a lack of father. They do much of the time look for a man with some sort of status, or some sort of like, say it's somebody that was in the military, or, you know, police. You know, that's just an example, but somebody with some form of power, type of role in the world, because they want to feel protected by the person that they're with. They want to feel like they are important to somebody that they feel matters, because their own father did not stay in their life. And, you know, you could have even had a parent that passed, and something similar will happen. A lot of girls find themselves doing everything for a guy, or doing everything they can to keep somebody because they feel like every male in their life will leave them. I've done a lot of inner child healing on people, you know, that have had quite the rocky past. Say the mother was very abusive to the girl. I kind of walk her back to that situation, because what it means is that, you know, that is still existing in her life. So like her inner child is still there, holding on to the situation that may have happened. Say the mom called her stupid, or said she did not look good, or told her she was fat, or told her something she did wasn't good enough, or said, oh, that's good, but it should have been this. The girl is going to hold on to that, and they're going to feel like nothing they do is ever good enough. So I've had to walk women back to their childhood where something really awful has happened, and have them save themselves from that situation. Because, you know, in any Reiki work, spiritual work, energy work, the way that they view it is a shard of your soul. A shard of your soul is missing, and you need to retrieve it back. Soul retrieval. But inner child soul retrieval is a lot deeper, and it takes a lot more work and a lot more time in figuring out, you know, the little trigger as to what set off how you are for the rest of your life. Or, you know, unless you actively decide to heal or whatever, you know, it doesn't mean it's forever. But you know, you have to go back and you need to find the moment where they either stole your innocence, they made you feel not good enough, they took away your voice and you're scared to have a voice now. You need to go back and you need to pull yourself back, because on the quantum plane, it's all existing, it's all still there. You know, what I do as an energy worker is I help pull people back from that situation and save themselves, because there's nothing more empowering than saving themselves. That, you know, when they were younger had some type of abuse trauma, rape trauma, something that happened to them where their innocence was stolen. And what I do is I empower them. I bring them back to that time in their life, you know, no matter how rough it is to see it, no matter how much it hurts to see these events that have happened, the inner child is still holding on to these events. And, you know, a lot of people, when they go back to those events, they cry and they cry, and it's so good because it's such a major release, and they're empowering themselves and they're saving themselves and they're pulling themselves back from these catastrophic events. And you know what that does? That makes them whole again, and that makes them say, I'm gonna get through this. Like, I know I'm going to get through this and anything that's happened to me, because I'm a warrior. Like, I'm a fucking survivor. I'm a warrior. And no matter what anyone does to me, I'm pulling myself back, because you are not going to hold a part of my soul for any longer than you've already had it, and, you know, messed with my future and the way my life has been going. If you've ever had a reading with me, or you know me, you know that I'm super empowering with people. You know, I feel everybody is entitled to feel bad for themselves, or, you know, get down on themselves or feel sorry. But then, you know what we have to do? We have to actively build ourselves back up. We need to find the events in our life that robbed us of the beauty of the future. I was very picked on. I had done an inner child meditation, and I was like kind of asking my guides or higher self, like, what I was still holding on to. And I went back to a time where I was on the school bus, and my parents couldn't really afford to get me nice clothes. So you know, when I was in 6th grade, bell bottoms were really cool, you know, mud bell bottoms, and my parents were able to buy one pair for me, and I wore them every day just because I wanted to fit in with everybody. And when called it out, and they would pick on me and make me feel like really awful about myself, and it was you know, that's a really awful feeling. Girl, the little kid, when they're young, the parents tell them they're amazing and they're perfect and they can be anything they want and they can do anything they want. And then they go to school, and that's, you know, kids going through their own issues are telling them that they're not perfect. So, you know, our hearts are all super broken when we're very young, and a part of our soul will always stay stuck. Like, I can tell you the first teacher that ever talked really awful to me. I can tell you the first girl that ever picked on me for my ears. And I actively have had to deal with that, face it as it comes up, and go back on the, you know, quantum plane, on the healing of it all. And I've had to pull myself back from these situations and heal myself. And you know what happens after you heal, what happens in the emotional body manifests into emotional block, and then it turns into a physical block. And when you're releasing certain things because it's so stuck in the body, you know, it could be stuck in a certain organ, it could be stuck in a certain chakra, be stuck in any part of the body, and, you know, whatever part of the body that governs that chakra, you're gonna have a massive release. And, you know, you may get sick. I had recently done one. I had pulled myself back from an abusive relationship, and happened to me is I relived the whole situation, and in that relationship, I never used my voice. Person like always talked down to me and always made me feel really small and made me feel like I wasn't good enough, made me feel like I was annoying. And when I pulled myself back from that situation, I didn't cry because I was so over it. What had actually happened is it triggered other things in me. So it triggered other events. It triggered, I woke up and I started crying hysterical, and it triggered when no one believed me and what I did, and I was so afraid and I was so scared of myself, and I had no idea what was going on with myself because, you know, it's really scary to feel all these different things and be so empathic and no one believe you. And I was too afraid. I didn't find my voice yet. I hadn't found my healing. So I spent so much of my life being or feeling not good enough for anybody, you know, from my immediate childhood. I never felt that I would be good enough for something like this. And then, you know, the more I've pulled myself back from my past and the more I've healed myself and brought myself to the forefront, and that's the reason I could stand like this and I could sit like this and I can talk with such confidence. It's okay if someone doesn't believe in your artistic ability, or doesn't believe in the message that you share with the world, or doesn't believe in your dietary choices, or doesn't believe in the things that you feel make you yourself, because they haven't found their own believing. You know, we're all just stuck in like this circle of other people's stuff consistently, and it's only when we go back to the past and we pull ourselves back into this future, we jump out of that circle and we pull ourselves in and we stop that circle, we break it apart, and it can only go straight from there. Because what happens is we stay stuck in the loopholes. We stay in the, this person picked on me, I don't see myself properly, I feel no man will ever treat me well, I'm in abusive relationships, I don't know how to heal myself, when I look in the mirror I think I feel this way, that person called me stupid, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it consistently just goes on and on. So, you know, it's amazing, you know, this day and age we have so many ways to heal us, and you know, we have so many ways to pull ourselves back from those moments. I always say some of the hardest healings I've ever had to do, and some of the hardest inner child healings I've ever had to do, have always worked out the very best for me. You know, you have to repair your relationship with your mother, you have to repair your relationship with your father, and you know, maybe in this lifetime right now, after you heal it, it's not going to be the same, but you're going to go back and you're going to have the little girl or the little boy that didn't feel good enough for one of their parents, or wasn't treated properly, or didn't feel they were loved enough. You are going to help them know that they are loved, because that soul is still existing in space and time. Time transcends everything, and unfortunately trauma transcends time, no matter what. And when you go back and you heal that little girl, and you heal that young kid, you grab them, you hug them as you let them know the amazing person you become, you let them know everything that they grow up to be is beautiful, they heal. You know, that young kid, and I'm smiling like this because I've done it, like this smile is only resulting that my inner child, I feel, is saved. Like, she's here, she's with me. Pulled her back from some awful events, you know. You don't think when you're younger, you know, a lot of people say time heals all, but I don't actually agree with that. I think time just digs the wound a little deeper, and then it manifests as our truth, and then it manifests as our everyday life. And you know, we lose so much of the magic of our lives being so afraid of the things that have happened to us. Whether you've been in abusive relationships, or abused by a parent, or had an absent parent, or no one ever made you feel good enough, or you've never really liked what you saw in the mirror. We heal from these things, and we can, you know, it's going to give you a far better life than you ever could have dreamed, you know. I don't dive into, you know, a lot of childhood wounds or anything like that, just because it's not my business to tell. But you know, everybody has been through something, and you know, when you look at a photo of you as a child and you look at them, and I remember I looked at a photo of me as a little kid, and I had like a little puppy in my hand because I've always loved animals, and I started crying hysterical for her because she was such a little girl. And she was so just cute and just so innocent, and she didn't know why certain things were happening. And she didn't know why the world was about to be turned upside down. All she was a little girl that was born She didn't ask for the things that happened to her. She didn't ask to feel different from everybody else. She didn't ask to be in some of the situations she was. And as she got older, you know, I go back to teenage me. And it's the girl that did anything she could for someone to like her, anything she could to fit in with people. And guess what? I pulled that girl the fuck back, because that girl had no idea how amazing she was going to grow up and be. And the old one that healed from that healed the young one. You see what I'm saying? Like, it all transcends. Like, we have to heal our inner child. We have to heal. And our inner child it could be 2 years old, 22 years old. It could be 2 years ago. It's any time that our soul is stuck in a moment of time and we feel like we have not been able to pull ourselves back from it. And a lot of it is relationships. If you're in a relationship and somebody treated you bad, like, you know, meditate on that relationship. Like, meditate on it a bit and, you know, kind of go back to it, and you'll discover things that you forgot even happened. Back to your childhood and, you know, go through the eyes of the young you, the baby you, and, you know, maybe listen, you know, what baby you is still remembering that, you know, maybe her mother said to her, or her father said to her, or the last thing you remember before your father left you, or your mother left you and you were just a little kid and you didn't know why this was happening. You grew up so confused. You know, you have to hug that one. You have to hug that innocent child, because that innocent child didn't ask for this. I've had to pull myself back from even things that have happened last year or 6 months ago, you know, and I feel like the older you get, the more the deeper wounds come up, and the deeper wounds are always so embedded in us from childhood. Our childhood, when we're little, the first time our heart is broken, the first time we feel fear, we manifest it because when you're a kid, you only know fight or flight. You don't know consequence. You don't know why something's happened. You don't know the rational reasons as to why you feel afraid. So you just go into fear mode and you feel abandoned and feel like, you know, no one was there to save you or no one protected you, and you grow up and you don't feel protected by anybody and you don't really feel safe. There's pieces of our soul, if you really think about it, and when I do past life regressions on people or inner child work, I say, you know, picture a timeline and, you know, find the year, find the age where a piece of your soul fragment stayed, because a lot of what happens is we have all these soul lessons, and when we don't pull ourselves back from it, you know, we have to come back, we have to repeat lessons, but we have this gift now where we can go back and we can figure out, you know, at what age, what specific event made us feel a certain way, made us feel afraid, made us not value ourselves, made us not love ourselves. Like, we gotta find the events where our soul stayed in time and where parts of our soul are waiting for us to go and get them, and we need to bring them back and integrate them back into our life right now, and we need to find why they happened, what we learned from it. We have to empower ourselves from the trauma that's happened to us, but we need to heal, we need to grow, we need to emerge, we need to rise, we need to pull those parts of our soul back, place them back in our body, take a deep breath in, a deep breath out, and say, this life is mine. And once you pull yourself back from certain events and you bring your inner child back to you, you know, you get a little bit of your sense of humor back again, you know, you're able to have a certain innocence come back to you, and, you know, you feel like you laugh a little more, everything looks a little more bright. The ghost of little you has been waiting for you to come and find them and said, you know, I want you to come save me. I know you couldn't when we were little, but I need you now. You are your own superhero. You are the one that is going to save you at the end of the day. And yeah, you know, we get a little help from our friends. That reminds me of the Joe Cocker song, the "Follow help from my friends." We are our own superheroes, and, you know, I've been through a lot, and I don't think that it's any better or any worse than anybody else, but we all have, and I know it takes a brave soul and it takes a really strong person to face the events that have happened to them. To relive some of the moments of their past and relive some of the times they may have felt not perfect or not beautiful or not special. But guess who is special? The soul that will heal, the soul that wants to heal, and the soul that says, this is my life and I take my power back. There's something so beautiful about being destroyed and being broken by somebody and then rising yourself up and finding your voice and saying, I will never let this happen to me again. I'm gonna rise and I'm beautiful and I'm amazing. We have to find the certain events in our life that made us feel small or made us a little different or become different in our adult life. You know, was your mother the most loving to you as a woman? Like, did your mom always make you feel like you were good enough? Was your dad always supportive? Did he make you feel protected, or did he make you feel like he just existed in the household? Have you ever dated somebody that told you you weren't pretty or told you you were crazy or too sensitive? You have a hard time finding somebody to treat you good because your brain is still stuck in a place of thinking that you are too sensitive? Has a boyfriend ever called you fat and now you realize you look in the mirror and you have body dysmorphia? Or do you feel like you may have a double chin when you really don't? Has your mom ever told you that she didn't want you and you ruined her life? Do you ever watch one of your parents get drunk and say nasty things to the other? Everybody kind of gets the point, you know, if you're intuitive, or even if you're not intuitive, if you're just, you know, a person that understands like a little of the things that I talked about, you're gonna understand that, you know how to grab yourself and pull yourself back from a place of the past, and you gotta save yourself. Thank you for watching, and you know, thank you for being a part of this journey with me. It is an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to be able to help people, because, you know, I look back at my inner child that felt like she would never be beautiful, felt like no one would ever like her. You know, she felt like no one ever would see her, care about her, and it did it, and it's really awesome. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have the best day.
Time is waiting, raise the light. They'll read about us when we die.
God, fuck, I was on a roll. Fuck. I wish my inner child would come and heal me right now to learn how to talk, because apparently I didn't learn how to. It could be stuck. There could be dirt stuck in my eye. I'm Why is my back so itchy? Oh, tagging the shirt. And I can't believe I've gotten through an entire video without saying fuck. Yes!